Well, greetings and salutations once again. Great to have you with us. It is Switch on Network. It is episode 8. We are moving along quite steadily and a lot to speak about once again. A lot happened this past weekend, a lot coming up. There was Champions League, the league itself, the PSL finished off. We know there was a lot of drama on the final day, I should say. Then there's coaching changes that are imminent. There are coaches that we are waiting to hear who the possible suspects are. So we'll get through all that. And then there's still a matter of the relegation battle. Who is going into the relegation promotion playoff? We know that Orbit College and Kaizer Stars are yet to know who their third opponent is going to be. And so a lot to get through today. There is also finals to look forward to, massive finals to look forward to this weekend. Champions League, not only in Africa, but UEFA Champions League final as well. We'll get into that and more. But just to introduce the panel as it stands, I am Mark Haskins, your host. Together with me, the legend himself once again, Morgan Gould. Great to have you once again, Morgie.
Thank you very much, Mark. And it's always nice to be part of this round table. That things don't end up round.
It gets hot on the round table.
It gets hot.
And we know who's generally responsible for that. The man himself, the man South Africa loves to hate, Nadim Lukele. Always a pleasure sitting alongside you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's good that you're back from Tanzania, Zanzibar. But yeah, it's good, Mark.
Yeah, no, it wasn't for holiday, yeah? It was for serious business. I mean, let's touch on that. You speak about a Zanzibar. I know Coach Fadlu Davis was flying the South African flag. He's got a strong contingent of South Africans with him as part of his technical team. It was always going to be difficult, though, the 2-0 lead to overturn it.
It was so difficult. That's why I said it's not going to happen. It was going to be nice for a South African side, a South African coach winning the CAF Confederation Cup. It's one of those matches where you feel like 2-0, it's a bit too much to overturn.
But it was, I must tell you, having covered the game, being there, the live atmosphere, the fans, it was absolutely amazing. They scored early. They did everything they needed to do. They scored early. They eventually got the ball into the back of the net for that second one. I know you love talking about VAR decisions. Was that a goal or not? I mean, that one could have gone either way as well.
It could have been. That's the thing. What does VAR does in football? So there's always, sometimes it's not perfect. It's a sport of small margins. Even the VAR is not making the perfected decisions. So I feel that they just lost it. I mean, it was, even if the goal was allowed, 2-2. I mean, it was still going to be extra time and all those kind of things, or straight to penalties. You never know. So I just felt it's too much to overturn a 2-0 lead.
Morgan, they'd come back from 2-0 down previously in the tournament. I think it was against Al Mazri. They were 2-0 down from the away leg, came back, got the 2-0 result, went to penalties, eventually getting to the final. But you have to give credit. Coach Fadlu, they put up a brave performance.
Yeah, brave performance as Nadim said, it would have been nice, but it's not. Football is not a great story where you say, it would have been nice for it to end up this way. But given the fact that the way the result went is one of those things where I don't think in the league they tested. They're playing against a very good Moroccan team. And that Moroccan team they've been there before. Their coach has 9 titles in the past. How old is he? He's 43. He's got 9 titles. So that goes to show the man is on top form.
He's been there, done that.
Yes, he's been there, done that. He knows how to do it. And he has a team that's backing him. So it was a really, really big stretch for them.
You know what the funny thing is, though? Do you know who was doing VAR for the match? Our very own Akona Makalima.
Oh, yeah. So I saw a picture. You were with her.
Yeah, I mean, we traveled there together. We, ended up sitting together on the plane. And I guess it's ironic, a South African. And again, there's no time for Buti Cup. It's not about brotherhood. It's about doing the job at hand. And unfortunately, it was ruled offside, and probably rightfully so.
Yeah, it was definitely offside. A close call, but offside. And I think...
so the right decision was made.
To be honest, I think Connor, we must also give her flowers.
Yeah, for sure.
She's flying the flag very high. And she's doing the right to the job that she's been given. It's not doing anybody favors. She's doing what she needs to do in her position.
Well, the great thing is I can tell you that she has promised to come on the show. So very soon we're going to have our very own Akona Makalima on the couch. And we'll chat to her about her journey in the coaching space.
Yeah, it will have been nice because being a female referee and also being officiating at a higher level in South Africa, and also continental titles is a remarkable mark. I mean,
she's done amazing things.
Yeah, amazing job.
Yeah.
I mean, because she's one of those few women who have excelled. I mean, if you look how she officiates, you can say she's refereeing because she deserves so, not because someone is doing her favor.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing. Even CAF, when they selected to officiate via in the final, you can say it's on merit. So it would be good to have her, because we need those kind of success story. I mean, local girl going to the highest level, because even in the PSL, maybe we can ask her view about it. We need VAR in South Africa, because it can't be that you are officiating VAR across the world. Minister Gaten Maikenze said in April there will be VAR in South Africa, and now it's like May, June, and VAR is still not there. So it's another thing.
Well, coming attractions, we can tell you that we will have She-Ref on the couch. And it's amazing, the journey and what it takes to be a ref at that level of the game. So be sure to stay tuned to Switch On Network. A lot coming on the show. Now we have to get into this past weekend, the Champions League. Let's start there. You know, firstly, let me give the guys their flowers, because if we rewind and go back to the last show, our last preview show, both gentlemen said the scoreline would be 1-1. They both said that Pyramids would score in South Africa. Gentlemen, I must give you that.
Yep.
Nadim, like...
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, Sundowns fans were insulting us that me and Moken, we don't know football. I mean, Moken played at the highest level in the national team, won titles. So if you say a guy like Moken doesn't know football, that's almost madness.
No, regardless, regardless, I think.
But we said 1-1, and then people were insulting us for that. And we were giving away 3 Sundowns t-shirts. All of them got it wrong. All the 3 shirts, actually, all the 3 shirts, we need to put them. Yeah, we need to put them back here, because no one got the score correct. People were seeing 4-1 Sundowns, 1-1. I mean, like, they were seeing a very good score for Sundowns, that it will be an easy victory. I think that's also that kind of attitude, underestimating your opponents. That team is solid. We did say, what I said is that Sundowns will face a team from the first time where the team will be fearless. They are not going to be scared of Sundowns. And they show that. I mean, scoring at Loftus in the last minute. I don't remember when last did it happen, where a team, even in the last minute, they still believe they can score, and they did score. Even though first half, you can say they created enough chances to win the match. Of course, they should have been awarded a penalty. There was a handball. The referee didn't allow it, but they did well.
Who should have been awarded a penalty?
Pyramids should have gotten a penalty in the first 10 minutes of the game. They should have been
clear handball.
I think so. I think it's a clear handball. If it was for Sundowns,
even with VAR.
If it was for Sundowns, remember Sundowns also benefited against Steven Aziz. Against young Africans.
You are going far now.
Against young Africans, he scored a clear goal. It was disallowed. VAR acted as if it doesn't. Actually, these people operate VAR, need to be honest.
They're human beings. No.
Aziz scored a clear goal. And then the guy said it's not a goal.
But they are going to make mistakes. It's human.
So is
it's
that
humanly
VAR
controlled.
goal line technology there?
No. But if you look, teams have been making the VAR has been lenient when it comes to even against Esperance.
Again, so VAR's been lenient to Sundowns.
It's been pro Sundowns.
Why?
VAR.
Why?
It's
Why
because
would you say something like that?
If you look at the game against Young Africans, they scored that goal Aziz. They go through. They went on to lose on penalties, of which it denied them chance to go to the semi-finals, where Sundowns lost to Esperance. This season, Esperance scored a goal. They're saying it's offside. That was not an offside goal. It was not an offside. Away.
That was pretty much the same as the one we saw on the weekend, where it's marginal.
Yeah, but that one, there was no margin. It was not an offside goal. Clear. All the footage, there's not even a single footage or angle that shows me that.
But you don't have the angles that the VAR officials have, do you?
No, I don't.
So,
but from what was provided, and I came to the conclusion.
He came to the conclusion.
Expert opinion.
Yeah. But I also read a lot of reviews.
Okay.
So many people even cited the fact that Mzipe is a CAF president. It could have been the officials. They just felt, let's give it away. Most people in North Africa, there was so much complaints about that.
Okay. We're not going to get into, North Africa.
It's always going to be like, we lose. You feel like, we had the chance there. Maybe the officials just wanted to let it go for whatever reasons. But most importantly, they were complaining that if you have a CAF president who also own a teams who wants to win the same tournament, it's always going to be a challenge, of which is true. Imagine the UEFA president owning a team in the Champions League even if they're wrongly or right, even if it's a human area, people can easily say, the UEFA president wants his team to win the Champions League.
Again, I think it just comes down to making the correct decision. And I don't think there was any outright cheating. And, it all comes down to a matter of opinion, basically. Morgan, let's go. Nadim. Morgan, your take on the game, please.
He always brings the fire to the table. I told you.
Your take on the fire. I mean, 1-1 is the scoreline. You called it. You said Pyramids would score. I think it sets up the tie very interestingly for the return.
Definitely. I think for 75 minutes of the game, it was a top-class game. But then it became a nervy game because Sundowns had the lead and now they were trying to hold back. And to be honest, Pyramids knew what they wanted to do because 4, 5, 6, so let me say 6 times, they played the very same ball. They went down on the left wing, they isolated, they switched it to the opposite side, to the blind side. And that's how the goal came in. And they were adamant that they're going to catch Mudiba out of place. They're going to catch Mudau out of place. And they did. They scored the goal. For me, fantastic game. However, it's for Sundowns to lose this game. The next game, it's for Sundowns to lose this game. They have everything in their armor to go and fetch this game because they're the ones that let the game go. It was 40 seconds left. We could not see the 40 seconds out. Hence, Pyramids stuck in and they kept going. They kept probing and they got the end result.
I have to ask you as a coach though, your approach, if you're the coach of Pyramids, you've got the away goal. You need a 0-0 to become African champions. What's your approach?
You definitely need to go at Sundowns.
You don't sit back and try to play for the...
You cannot sit back because Sundowns has the ability to break you down, whether they come via the wings or they come through the midfield. They'll break you down at some point. And be honest, let's look at it. Reynolds was one of the top players. And he's getting his scoring boots right. He's getting on target. He's getting closer and closer. So you don't want those should-haves, could-haves. Rather play the game to your strength and know that it's a 0-0 game. You want to win. You have to score the goal. Because Sundowns will definitely, I can put my head on the block. Sundowns will definitely score a goal or two.
They will score in Egypt.
They will score.
I like that. Now, you were very critical of Ribeiro. After the goal he scores, has that changed at all? Who's the best player at Sundowns?
The best player at Sundowns is Teboho Mokoena. I think we saw that also during the match. He's the best player. Ribeiro, for me, he has done well in the PSL, but in the CAF Champions League, I think it's one of his few goals this season. He's not been dominant in the CAF. I think Pyramids created better chances than Sundowns. Even the shortest goal it hit through 3, Sundowns have 2. I think they did enough to get a draw, of which going home, Sundowns will be exposed in a scary way because you are playing a team that is tactically sound. For Sundowns to win the match, they need to score at least minimum of 2 goals. Scoring 1 goal is not going to help them because Pyramids already also have the away goal. So
scoring 1, I mean, they could go and win 1-0 and they win the title.
They win the title.
So
no, I'm just saying for Sundowns, scoring 1 goal is not going to help them because Pyramids can still score 2 goals at home. That's why they're strong at home. So the average...
So you're saying Pyramids will score
at least 2 or more. They average 2 or more goals at home in the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
So I feel for Sundowns to win the match, they need to score at least 3 goals, of which is a tough call. And Sundowns in tough matches...
But now again, 2-2 favors who?
2-2. Obviously, if it's 2-2, if it's a draw, it's going to favor Sundowns because of the away goal rule. But it's not going to happen. You know why? It's not going to happen. Sundowns is going to lose the CAF Champions League because Pyramids are strong at home.
According to Nadim.
No, you asked me a question.
Disclaimer.
No, there's no according. You asked me a question.
I want the predictions. We're going to get the So you're saying Sundowns?
Yeah, I feel Sundowns are playing
a very... the Champions League because...
My reason, I saw them playing Pirates at FNP Stadium. They had 1 shot on goal. Again at home in the CAF Champions League semi-final, they had 2 shots on target. That is not good enough. If you're playing a team with technically good players like Pyramids have proper players and proper like world class. I mean, Fiston Maila, one would say is the best striker in Africa. So and Ramadan Sopi, highly experienced. They've got those kind of players who can break down Sundowns. Even in terms of quality, Sundowns are used to play teams where they have better quality than them. This is the first match where the quality is almost even, or even one could say Pyramids have a slightly better squad overall. So I feel that Sundowns threw the game away by conceding that goal. They might seriously regret it, conceding that late goal, because with 1-0, it's fine. They know how to... Because Tottenham Hotspur, if you look how they defeated Manchester United in the final, they scored 1 goal in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. From there, that is the only shot of all. They defended right through. Pyramids also can do that. You need to be brave. Fortune favors the brave. If they just need to defend and allow Sundowns not to score.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you to give me because you guys have that crystal ball, Mos. You guys got those results. What's your prediction for the weekend?
Pyramids is gonna beat Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club 2-1.
2-1.
Yes. And then they will be crowned champions for the first time.
3-1 aggregate.
Yes.
Okay. Mogi?
I agree with Nadim. The score 2-1, but to Sundowns.
2-1 in favor of Sundowns.
Yes.
So Sundowns will be champions.
Most definitely.
Okay. So we are divided.
Actually, I want to give him. I also want to follow up on his statement saying Ribeiro. Ribeiro in let's say in the Champions League, Ribeiro hasn't been the Ribeiro of the one that we know in the Betway Premiership, because he bosses around. When it comes to the continent, I don't think they really know about him and they really care. They go robust. They're all over him. So he needs to actually lift up his game, and he can actually be the game changer for this 2-1 for Sundowns.
I think there's a lot of game changers on the field on both sides, as you guys have both mentioned. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I think for me, this 1-1 result sets it up beautifully. I think Pyramids now have to think how they want to approach the game, because now instead of being all out offense, they might have to think about actually saying, hey, do we just want to come out and expose ourselves?
They will be sending fear to Sundowns, because Sundowns knows that if Pyramid scores, it becomes too much for them.
But that's why I say if they didn't score that equalizer, then they would have been all out offense.
Yeah.
But they now have to think about defense purely because they've got the away goal in the bag. And that for me makes the game interesting, because that might play into Sundowns' favor. And so I think it remains...
The person who coached Sundowns the match, let's just not forget, is the Sundowns coach. He made so many mistakes. That was just we saw a high level of poor coaching there. Because if you look at how Sundowns had 1-0 in the last 5 minutes, you're still putting Miami, you still want to attack. Honestly speaking, this is a final. You are at home. Just cement that 1-0. Be all out defensive, because that was risky. That it didn't pay off. So immediately, if the Sundowns scored a second goal, you're gonna say he's a master technician, but it didn't. So Sundowns 1-1, which it favors the away team because of away goal.
Now let me ask you this: where does defense start?
Defense start.
Morgan knows the answer to this question.
Okay, defense. I'm basing from how the Tottenham match were. No, Tottenham what they did.
In football, we say defense starts from the front.
No.
So there's a misconception about those kind of subs, because you bring Miami on. Are you bringing him on necessarily to attack?
No, I'm not talking about
fresh legs.
I'm not talking about olden days football. I'm talking about now.
No.
I'm not talking about olden days football. I'm not talking about. Okay. The guy Eng, the Tottenham Hotspur coach. He dominated the Scottish football. Tottenham won the Europe. Manchester United had the guy called Ruben Amorim. They say he's one of the smartest coaches in the world. But in the Champions League the Europa final, he outsmarted. The guy was putting defenders on. That's it. Because he knew 1-0, you're done.
So Coach Cardoso should have just
not even a single striker. He didn't put a striker. He knew what he was doing. 1-0.
Defender.
Yeah, he was putting defenders. Tottenham. Sundowns, if you wanted to just
put
defenders.
No, we're talking about Sundowns. I'm saying, so you saying Coach Cardoso
made a mistake. Yeah.
He should have put defenders on.
I think so.
Okay,
even touching Matthews, I watched the game. With my opinion, I thought he was not bad. For him to substitute him in the 35 minutes, it looked like a mistake, because he's the kind of a guy who was making those kind of runs. But with him not putting, even if you put a player like Mshishi, who can hold the ball, is better than Miami.
This wasn't a game for Mshishi. It was high. It was high speed, and you needed to go at them. Mshishi is a person that keeps the ball. He knows when to play, how to play. If it was 2-0, yes, I would have added a player like Mshishi to slow the game down and make those intricate passes and those runs. But for them to make the substitutions that they made, it was okay. It looked like they wanted to go and get the second goal. But for Mshishi to come on in that game, and he just comes back from an injury, I don't think it would have been a case for him to actually just lift up his morale. It wouldn't have been a good one for him.
So do you think if they put a defender, it was going to be...
No, you defend with attacking, because
Okay.
Sundowns is a team that likes to keep possession of the ball. And for you to defend, you'd rather defend with the ball at your feet than let the opponents do the running or the working. That's the way the coach envisioned his substitutions and his changes. But unfortunately, you know, Pyramids came up with something that's very... Is it the Croatian coach from...
Yes,
the Croatian coach. You could see him. He was literally playing the game with the players because he was jumping up and down on the sidelines, knowing very well that his tactic will work. They just need to stick and fight it out.
But this is also the nature of the game. You know, sometimes we said in the past, Coach Cardoso, there's, you know, things he got right. Maybe he got this one wrong. We can give you that, because ultimately the result favors Pyramids. But now it's all down to the second leg. So we wait to see what happens in the second leg, and he's got a chance to redeem himself.
Definitely.
It's not all over. So both coaches have a lot of work to do, and I feel for these respective technical teams, because this week leading up to that final, I think is going to be a massive one. I think we need to move on now. A lot to talk about. There's, you know, the hot topic of how the league ended this week. You know, some teams missing out on top 8. Others waiting to see what's happening with the playoff. But let's start there with the top 8. Obviously, there's one sore point when it comes to South African football.
Yes.
And Kaizer Chiefs did not make the top 8. Who do you blame for that, Morgan?
Look, is
it a blame game?
It shouldn't be a blame game in this regard, because if you look at it, and a little birdie has it that people want to start blaming and pointing fingers to the coach, but you can't. Look at it in the case of, has the coach worked with his technical staff for a number of years? No. Look at how he brought them in. He brought them in from different... Wait, Mark. He brought them in from different areas, taking that they are the best in their role. But has he worked with them? The winning attitude, the fighting, the argy-bargy for the good of the team. Was it that? They had a bit of arguments, but you could see that only towards the end, they were starting to understand one another that, listen, this is what the coach wants. And I'm against what the coach wants, but I need to support him. So,
I'm not sure I can let you get away with that one, because for me, I know the coach has lamented the fact that he hasn't chosen his players, or he hasn't gotten the players that he wanted.
With the technical team.
But he chose his own technical team.
Yes, he chose his own technical team, thinking that, or knowing that they are the best wherever they were working. They weren't working with him, but he chose, let me get an apple from here, a banana from here, fruit, so I can make a better fruit salad.
Yeah.
He's not going to take his whole technical team that he was coaching with from the previous team and then bring him along.
And he lost his assistant earlier in the season as well.
That's one of the factors where they still were studying and understanding one another. Second, he wanted the players that he wanted. He didn't get them. And in that turmoil, you know, most of the games that Chiefs lost, I think 7 or 8 games, they were leading the game, and they obviously lost the game. So closing off the game, they didn't have the mechanism to close off the game or to kill off a game. Like, as we were saying, Tottenham Hotspurs were killing games off. Like the Manchester United, they were killing games off. They go in the lead, and all they do is defend and make sure that they keep what they have. Unfortunately, Chiefs didn't have that in. If they could have done that for 4 or 5 games, we'd be talking a different case.
Okay.
I've never had someone making so many excuses.
It's not excuses.
You can't even validate. I mean, I think you can do a serious job to replace Pat Komafan at Kaizer Chiefs and become a spokesperson. You know, like, I struggled. Honestly speaking, the guy is not good enough to coach Kaizer Chiefs. I'm looking at how Fadlu Davids took Simba, who struggled last season. Young Africans were the strongest team. They also even lost in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He improved the team, reaching the CAF Confederation Cup Final, being on top of the log. The guy was supported, came up with his own technical team. I refuse to, with everything that Mokan has said, and feel the guy couldn't better Polokwane City and be on top of Polokwane City. When I'm looking at Polokwane City, I don't see a team that has better quality than Kaizer Chiefs. I don't see a team that has a better technical experience, even on the bench, more than Kaizer Chiefs. Looking at Amazulu with Atazwane, this is the guy that Chiefs get rid of, who was the coach of Kaizer Chiefs. looking how he improved Amazulu. We found Amazulu were in a terrible position, way more than Chiefs. Amazulu were one of the worst teams last season. Now they're in the top 6. And then looking at Chiefs struggling to even make the top 9. Morgan Gold top 8. It's just making an excuse.
Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, Karen.
I feel the guy. You ask him who do you blame? I think the coach for Chiefs to make the top 8 needs to be blamed. I think even though
the buck stops with the coach.
Yeah, I feel I've been saying it many times that they need strikers. They signed the wrong players. Yes, but the players that were there, if you look at Ashley Dupree, Lilep, or even Ranga Chivavir, all the guys that were there, Pulemodi, Yusuf Might and them, they were good enough to make Chiefs to become a top 8 team in South Africa. For them, not making the top 8, I think honestly the coach underperformed. If you look how Chiefs lost a lot of matches, like 12 matches. In the last 8 consecutive matches in the league, they didn't even win a single match. But it's the same team that we say beat Pirates in the final of Bank, beat Sundowns in the semi-final, beat Stellenbosch in the quarterfinal. You see, how did you beat those teams in the cup competition? It's because those are the same team that you are playing in the league. So for me, the same Pirates that he lost at FNB before going to Durban. I think the guy underperformed, honestly.
The point I want to make, and again, maybe you'll think it's in defense of Kaizer Chiefs. You keep comparing them, like you're saying, Chiefs has a better squad than Polokwane City per se, and probably you'll mention many other teams.
No.
But tell me this: how do you think? Again, just for example's sake, a Chippa United approach a game against Polokwane City as opposed to Chippa United preparing and their approach for a game against Kaizer Chiefs? Do you think it's the same? So again, I don't want to, it's not a case of defending, but I want us to speak about Chiefs as Chiefs, because comparing Chiefs to Polokwane City in terms of their squads is not, it doesn't even out things, because I guarantee you Chippa United preparing for Polokwane City is very different. And even the players' mentalities, and Morgan will tell you as a player, myself as well, when we played against Chiefs, and even if it wasn't the greatest Chiefs team, but playing against Chiefs, there's 3 games you don't miss in the season, especially for the lesser teams. Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, you don't miss those games. You up for those games. And so playing against Chiefs and playing against Polokwane City is 2 different things altogether. And so Polokwane City and Chippa United. So when Chippa play them, they go toe-to-toe. Everyone else plays Chiefs very differently. Why do you think Chiefs are better against the teams that go toe-to-toe with them? Because Sundowns Pirates, Stellenbosch, they go toe-to-toe with Chiefs because they feel they're going to beat Chiefs. Other teams, that low block, maybe sometimes they sit in it or whatever, and Chiefs, maybe they struggle to break down. And if we look at Chiefs as a whole, we look at them and say, you struggle to win certain games because you struggle to cope against teams that played a certain way. Because Chiefs, when teams play against Chiefs, they play a certain way. So I don't think that's a fair comparison.
I think we are wrong. First thing first, that Chiefs fared better against the big teams. They lost home and away against Sundowns. And also Sundowns beat them. Sundowns, they lost 4 home and away. It's a fact in the league. Pirates beat Chiefs home and away. To say Chiefs are better against those teams.
Performance-wise.
No.
Performance-wise. I'm talking performance-wise.
Okay, performance-wise I see. Yeah. But what matters is the results.
Okay.
The guy is a Kaizer Chiefs coach. He's one of the highest paid coaches, maybe in the top 3 in the country. Yeah. Maybe in the top 2. We don't know because the salaries are not revealed. Part of the reason he was hired by Chiefs is that kind of thinking, is to be able to unlock defensive teams.
Yeah,
it's a norm.
Exactly.
Wait. You asked me a question, I'm answering. It's a norm across the world. If you are coaching the big teams, you need to know how to unlock small teams, because small teams, will come and sit back. That's why Pep Guardiola, they are rated highly, Carlo Ancelotti, because they know how to unlock teams. If you can't do that, because what you're trying to tell me is because Chippa United, maybe they could come and sit back, of which is not true, because you see how
we play different.
Yes, they will come and sit back. It means it's not intelligent enough to unlock defensive teams who come and sit back against Chiefs. If you say against Sundowns and Pirates, it can go toe to toe. But against, you're not gonna play Sundowns and Pirates twice, which is 4 times a season. But the other 80% of those games will be against the so-called small teams.
Yes.
As a coach, to win the league, you need to be able to also know how to do that. So he doesn't know. That's why I'm saying he's not a Kaizer Chiefs coach. They need to get a coach who will know how to plan properly for a team like Polokwane or Magesi or Sikukune.
Now that point I can take, not the fact that he's got a better squad than Polokwane.
No, it does have a better squad.
Nadim.
Also, it does have the better squad because most of the Chiefs players that they have are players that have bought from those teams.
Yeah.
Pulemodi was the best player at Arrows. He's a Chiefs. And before the match, Mangoba Mngoti did say, simple speaking to Andile, that will beat Chiefs. They are so predictable how they approach matches. There was no surprise.
I've heard that before.
Mangoba Mngoti said that before the game, which is Andile did the interview on Thursday. Sunday, he beat Chiefs 2-1. Easy. So you can't blame the guy. Okay. And I think that was the last match.
But Nadim, you can't really, obviously as a coach, you being a head coach and I'm coming against Nadim FC, I need to tell my players, I need to send a message to say, we are going to beat them.
He beat them. No, he did beat them.
Okay.
What matters is that he said all those things at the end of the day, he did beat them.
Yes, it's fine. He needs to be confident and show that in his mind and in his way of thinking, he's going to do it. He foresees it.
No, Moke, you're missing the point. He said they're predictable and he beat them the same way he said they're going to come at us like this. It was exactly the same and he won. Meaning that the guy is not good enough. He's not smart. If the other coach like Mangoba Mngiti, who's fighting relegation,
can we say that he needed a local guy next to him to also help him in
let's
that
say
game.
that. Like,
yeah, you can do that because you want to make excuses for him. The fact is, no, you are. You found guys. There are guys like Dylan Shepard at Kaizer Chiefs. He know if he feels he cannot rate him, can easily tell Kaizer Mtaunchu or Bobby Mtaung or Temis or whoever is running that show at Kaizer Chiefs. Guys, I need assistance with local. There are a lot of local people within the Chiefs, local coaches
we all want
who have been even you. I mean, they can't even call you a legend. Because Mo can come and help us. You can read I mean, you've been an experienced coaching at Skukun. We need your guidance in terms of reading locals. You can do that. So for me, there's no excuse. He doesn't want to do
Unfortunately,
that. He wanted a guy from Burundi.
Yes,
the guy wanted a guy. He was crying for an interpreter. A guy from Burundi. There's Ben Yusuf. Then there's another interpreter, a guy from Burundi, that is always talking to him. When he's winning, when he's losing, the guy is the one who he can't speak English. When he wins, the guy can speak English.
He's a mediator, not interpreter.
No, but he's most used because when Chiefs are struggling to win a game, the interpreter comes through. But when they win, you can see the guy can speak.
Morgan, but I think at the end of the day, Nadim's point is that they didn't make top 8. And a team of Chiefs' caliber, it is unacceptable.
Remember, Mark,
can we agree on that?
Let me just take you back. When he took over this job, he did say it's a project. Listen to him.
Yeah, we listen.
In his statements, he did say that we are going to grow steadily. And for us to grow steadily, we can't go from number 10 to number 1. That's anywhere in the world, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Leicester City was on one of those teams that did it, and it was
an anomaly.
Exactly.
It's an anomaly.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. He did say it's a project. I'm going to work on this project. I had other jobs elsewhere.
Wait, Nadim.
No, but they mustn't say it doesn't happen. And Carlo Ancelotti took Chelsea at number 10, then won the league. I mean, Antonio Conte. So it does happen. Don't say it doesn't happen. You're making excuse for this guy. And your excuses, you are running out of them.
No, it's not excuses, but it's
it is an excuse.
Okay.
You can take it. You can take it. Amazulu were number 11 or 12. Now they are number 5. So it can happen. Don't say it can't happen because it's not true.
Okay, Nadim, point taken. Morgan, at the end of the day, Kaizer Chiefs not being in the top 8. It's the second season in a row.
Yes.
But it's his first season, eh?
Yeah, no,
he's a cup specialist.
We're talking about Kaizer Chiefs.
Okay, he's a cup specialist.
As a club. This is the club you've played for. You know the legacy, the heritage. You know what comes with playing for Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
The players at the club, the coaching staff at the club, is it acceptable that they didn't make the top 8?
It's not acceptable.
Took you long, eh?
No, it's not acceptable. No, but it's not acceptable because look, you have to have a good coach with good players, or you have to have a good players playing for a coach that looks like he knows what he's doing, and they're not meeting one another. So he's also complaining out and saying he's not getting the players that he desired, but he'll work with the players. So let's open up the market for him and let him get his players and let him go into his second season. And then after, we can take the judgment to say, okay, this is not working and we have to move on from here.
Now, okay. Kaizer Chiefs, I think bottom line, Nadim, we know your thoughts. Morgan, they should be in the top 8. So obviously, whether the coach continues or not, that's a decision the club has to make. That's not open for debate, I guess. Let's see what happens. Let's talk about the teams that made the top 8. Richards Bay. Beginning of the season, I think a lot of people had them down as a relegation candidate, including you, Nadim.
That's true.
I mean, so Amazulu as there, Polokwane City is there, TS Galaxy is there. Okay, I think from Galaxy up, we expected them to do well. Galaxy, Skukunu, Stellenbosch, based on the history now and over the past couple of seasons. But we have to give credit to the likes of Amazulu, Polokwane City, Richards Bay. Richards Bay at some point looked like they were gone, but they've risen from the ashes.
For me, the story of Amazulu and Richards Bay, that just shows if you have owners who are really hands-on with the teams and who wants, because the guys, I mean, they signed the Pagwekes, that is the new sponsor, where they came in, they said the guy wants Richards Bay to be in the top 8. And they're in the top 8. He did say it's going to be an active sponsor. He's not going to give Richards Bay money and watch on.
Yeah.
It was demanding. Vusmuzi Vlagas was a coach. They gave him a mandate that after 8 matches, he needs to be on somewhere 15 points. He jumped out because he said the pressure was too much. So Brendan Truter came in, and then the guys now are there. Papi Zotwane and them. So it just shows when you've got management who are hands-on with the team, who don't care about personal feelings, who care about the interest of the team. That's where success comes from. Look at Amazon. They lost the first 3 matches. One of the matches was against Chiefs. It was 3-1. They sacked the coach, Pablo Franco Mantin, and then they put Atazwan and Vusmuzi Flagas. The team is in the top 8.
Yeah.
That just shows when you've got owners and club owners who are not sleeping, who want a team, who are not looking for excuses, who want a team to be there. For me, I admire those 2 KZN teams because I didn't think they can make the top 8. So for me, credit to those kind of, even TS Galaxy, they lost Ramovic because Pekanovic took over. They've lost like 3 or 4, the first 4 matches of the league. They were struggling, TS Galaxy. But now they're in the top 8. They became so consistent. Yeah. They improved. No excuses. Teams like TS Galaxy, they've got the material. They've been selling the players to Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, Stellenbosch, even Sundowns. But they improved. For me, there are no excuses. That's why I feel so amazed when people trying to think Chiefs are not good enough.
Let's not digress.
Okay, but if you look at all those teams from Stellenbosch, the only team that in South African football that have better players than, actually I'm saying it now, team that have better players than Kaizer Chiefs, it's Orlando Pirates and Sundowns. The rest, Chiefs have better squad than them. But if you look at the top 8, the reason is because the management, they allowed Nabe to go so many matches where he was winning 1 goal a game a month. They will allow him. If it was Ritape or Amazulu, they were not going to accept that. Chiefs were accepting that. Even Tim Suwazi, he said Ramovic came and said he accepted his resignation. He accepted it immediately because the results were not coming. The guy said no because that offer from Whitehead, the offer from Raja. The first offer was from Raja. It didn't come through.
Yes.
The guy wanted to come back. But Tim Sugas was still saying, no, go. See, Tim Sugas wanted him gone because he sees this team going down. He doesn't want to allow TS Galaxy to be a team that is not making the top 8. With Chiefs, it's almost becoming fine that they're in the top 8. They're not in the top 8.
This guy, you digressing again, but
and
okay.
It always goes back to that point.
But okay,
Morgan,
it looks like I'm digressing. I'm trying to tell a story that there are teams that are in the top 8 are not better than Kaizer Chiefs.
We understand, and point taken, guaranteed, point taken. Morgan, credit to those teams has to be given.
No, definitely. I think when you look at TS Galaxy, how the coach left and Nadim was explaining to it, they could see him not doing well, and he also looked at himself and he said, okay, I'm failing in this project. Let someone else take over. And the guy that took over for me did an amazing job, more than the coach that was there. I think he brought in a couple of ex-Chiefs players, brought them into the team, played them 1 or 2, even got national team call-ups. So for me, that TS Galaxy team was a team for me that you can literally say that they've actually done well. And if there was a category of team of the year, I think they're one of the team of the year.
For Galaxy, you say?
Yeah, most
definitely. When we look at a Richards Bay, where they came from, I mean, also they lost coaches during the season, and then it was basically assistants who took over. So Coach Gabriel, Coach Papi, Coach Sponiso, massive story there. I mean,
Yeah.
Morgan, you know Papi, you know the guys well.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Big story.
It's also the cash injection. You must remember where there's money, you can make decisions. You can make better decisions. Your training facilities could be better, and how you, what you eat, when you eat. That also comes into play. And obviously the mandate that Jomo Biela gave them and said, guys, this is what I want. This team can't go down. And being hands-on is a very good thing. And I like what Nadim is saying. You need to be hands-on, and you need to show that you bleed with the team. And anything that the team goes through, you must also go through it, because at the end of the day, it's your baby. It's your business that's going to be going down or whatever, or going up, So being hands-on, perfect. Arthur Zwane, another story that I also like to take off my hat to him. He's done so well. He left Chiefs. People not giving him much. They look into and saying, what's going to happen now? But he came up. He became co-coaches. He stuck in. Then he became sole coach. And being a sole coach for him, and he showed how he motivated Amazulu to get where they are.
Yeah, certainly. And I think even we speak about your support. I mean, we speak about the three at Richards Bay. Then with Arthur, you look at a Wendell Robinson, the experience he brings from like a Mamelodi Sundowns after years. He's not just a goalkeeper coach. Many people don't know exactly how qualified. Wendell Robinson is one of the most highly qualified coaches in the country. And so having him alongside Arthur Zwane there, and Arthur having him there, I think that's gone a long way as well to assisting Amazulu.
No, it has, because you look how Amazulu, the matches where Amazulu were losing is not because the team was not playing well. You will see the experience of Wendell Robinson and also Arthur Zwane from being associated with big clubs, Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns. For me, it was a goalkeeper ball, because Velimoto, every game that he has played this season, Amazulu lost. Immediately, they will put back Richard Ofori. Even the matches where they were struggling, Amazulu, not winning, it was not based on that their football was not good. It was based on goalkeeping errors, of which it was easily corrected when they put Richard Ofori. So, I mean, I'm so impressed with what Atazwane did. He did so much good things at Amazulu this season.
Adding on to that, I think that was also a good addition to his team, because if I could take you back, there was a boy by the name of A.B. Vilagazi, goalkeeper trainer. He was from the DDC and he put into the first team. For him to get the recognition and for him to get the respect from Richard Ofori and from Velimoto, he needed to be way above them, more experienced than them. That's where the change came in, and that was a perfect move for him. Unfortunately for the youngster, A.B. Vilagazi obviously been taken away from that position and bringing Wendell. They obviously knew Wendell comes with a pedigree. He's won leagues. He's won so many things with Mamelodi Sundowns. His pedigree is like on the top. And what he's done in the game, in the football game, is definitely going to push both these two goalkeepers that are internationals that in their own right. But with the youngster, they obviously would have taken leverage to say, he doesn't really know. But they bring someone in that's top coach.
Push everyone.
He's going to push them, and he's even going to hold the defense accountable for them conceding. So, Wendell.
Okay, guys.
So
guys, wait, Nadim. We're out of time already. So we're gonna need to fly through a few more things before we end the show, because we can sit here for hours.
But you know what I want to. Morgan came with a very good point for local coaches. I think we must not run away from it. Where he talks about Wendell Robinson, Vilagazi from the DTC team, and then you look at Atazwan. They replace who? Spanish coaches, guys.
Someone who sat on Real Madrid's bench.
Yes, we're told that this is high profile. So what Amazulu did, and also what it's a good case study that local coaches need to be given a fair chance. Honestly speaking, they can do better, because Pablo Franco, people are saying now, a guy who lost the first 3 games at Amazulu, then Atazwane came and built it. It's the same players. No excuses, nothing. You can't say Atazwane was not even in a preseason with them. So for me, local coaches, I believe that they can do a better job. Yeah, of course.
Let's give them a chance. Okay, we're gonna try to wrap things up as quick as possible. Quickly, there's a game tomorrow. I feel this game should have been played months ago, because this game was originally played on the 23rd of February. It's only finishing off. I shouldn't say the match is playing. The last 45 minutes are going to be played tomorrow. Serious consequences in that.
It's actually playing today,
It's playing, okay.
Today.
Serious consequences in this game, because this is actually a relegation battle, because SuperSport need to really get 3 points, and nothing less than 3 points will put them safe or should I say it's a draw right now. It's going in 1-1. They need to play the 45 minutes. But for them to be happy with what they end off, they need to win this game and keep themselves away from the talks of just being in the playoffs.
It's not fair to City. I don't think. I think this match should have been, this case should have been solved before the final day of the season, because now City is waiting. They still are training because more than likely they could still be going to playoffs, even though SuperSport is currently last. But should SuperSport just get a draw, now they know they can just play 45 minutes for a draw and they're safe. Not fair to City, I don't think.
Yeah, it's actually wrong. Not even unfair. It's wrong that this match took like 3 months later. Then you're gonna play 45 minutes. It's unfair to Cape Town City because now they have nothing. They played their matches. SuperSport will just go there and protect the goalpost.
Yeah,
and they'll stay in the PSL. And knowing Arrows are not the most brilliant attacking team in the PSL. So it's one of those matches.
And Arrows have nothing to gain because they need to score, I think, 7 goals because they can go above Richards Bay, but they need about 7 goals to go above them in goal difference. So,
and they've not scored 7 goals the whole season in one match. So we know that they are not even going to attempt that. So, but I think it's good for SuperSport because it's not going to affect the deal where they will be sold and be called Bloemfontein Celtic. So when that deal takes place, there will be a PSL team.
So that deal is happening. You are giving insight.
Yeah, there are a lot of talks. There are negotiations that Celtic will come back as SuperSport United. Remember, it was sold as, who's that reality TV star from Durban? Mamkiz. It was sold as Royal AM. Remember,
so it's gonna come back.
It's gonna come back as SuperSport. Okay. Then SuperSport will disappear in face of the earth.
And they'll come back at some point.
And then Celtic, when they want to come back, they can just buy another team again. So it's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
I hope
the merry-go-round of clubs. We used to talk about a coaching merry-go-round. Now we're talking about merry-go-round of clubs.
But I don't want Cape Town City to be relegated for many reasons. I just feel they're doing so much with development, proper structures.
The sad reality is, I think one of the two best development structures are the two that are facing this relegation playoff, because City and SuperSport are developing a lot of quality as well as Cape Town City. And so, yes, it's heartbreaking if we're going to lose one of these two, possibly. They know they can still come back in the playoff, but if possibly one of these two go to the lower leagues, it's going to harm our junior football, definitely.
Mark, definitely. I just want to add on to what you're saying. It's not just going to harm the teams and people losing their jobs. It's going to harm even to grassroots levels, as you're saying. And that speaks to our kids, because anything and everything that you see in Johannesburg, in, let's say, the Northwest area, you see the SuperSport schools. And the SuperSport schools gives the kids opportunity to try their luck. And then if they become better, they obviously go on to then have a look into the academy. So yes, they're doing it in Cape Town, but they're still far behind, because I know very well they do it once or twice a week. But with SuperSport, the SuperSport schools, they do it every day. You have a class every day for soccer. So now it's two of the teams that you are rightfully saying that they are in the fight, but
this could certainly hurt South African football.
Yeah.
Okay, just to tie things off, who's the next coach at Pirates? What are you hearing, Mogi?
I'm not hearing much, but for me, it will be a no-brainer. Benny needs to come back with his entourage.
One of Joseph's.
Well. Yes, come back.
Well, those are two Pirates legends alone. I mean,
and to be
honest,
he just
got the job with Kenya, though.
My man,
does he leave?
There's termination. Mark, we can terminate. When Pirates gives you the call, we terminate. Because I know Benny.
So your choice is Benny McCarthy.
Definitely. Benny wants to come back and he wants to put some respect on Pirates' name in terms of continental. Yes, locally, give it to them. They've done well over the past 5 years. They've got a brilliant coach. But there is no better coach right now for me that will do a better job or get the respect of the players right now. Because now they need someone that they really respect and they really look up to. And Benny's the no-nonsense guy. He'll tell you, I've done X, Y, Z. I'm here to assist you to make a difference in your career. Yeah. And he's got the mentality. He's done it before. So for me, I hear the coaches from are we let's say no. Let Benny take over at Pirates and you'll see Pirates will go to the level that they should be at.
What do you have to say about this, Nadia?
I think Benny won't coach Pirates this season, maybe in another season. I don't think is. I think there's a guy who's more qualified than him called Pitso Msimane, who's locally won the Champions League 3 times, won the league more than 5 times with Sundowns, developed a lot of players.
Yeah.
It's Super Sport United that ended up becoming superstars like Dane Clayt, a lot of guys. I feel that he might be a very good person to take over at Orlando Pirates, but I don't know. Even Rulani Mkwena, we know that he doesn't have a team. There's so much association with Orlando Pirates.
Clinton Larson is also a coach that's
he's available.
He's available.
And he's a former player.
Yes.
So
he'll do a very good job at Pirates, I think.
No, he won the league when Gordon Nikizand was a coach, but obviously he ran away from Makesi. I think he ran away. He won the cup, the Carling Cup.
Yeah.
Then there was so much pressure.
And then he ran away.
So, which gives me an idea that he might be a coward.
Wow. That's a strong word. You can't be calling people cowards.
No. He ran away.
He didn't run away.
What do you mean he ran
He
away?
was not fired by Makesi.
He was not fired?
Yeah, he was not. He ran
because of the league position. I mean, at the time.
Yeah, he ran away. He felt he couldn't take them further. That's why you have a coach like Owen Dagama who came, former Pirates coach, who came and improved the team. Now we're not talking about Makesi being relegated. He did run away at Makesi. I mean, at Makesi. It's not even. I think he's becoming sarcastic. He can't. Can't coach Pirates.
Wait.
He's available.
Guys, we don't have time. Let me throw one name in the head. What about Fadlu Davids?
Yeah, definitely. Also, someone that former Pirates coach.
And no disrespect to Simba. I know Simba won't be happy to hear that, but what about Fadlu Davids?
No, Fadlu Davids could be an ideal coach to coach Pirates. Simba, looking at Simba is a small team compared to Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates is one of the biggest teams.
You can't say that, Nadim. They reached the final.
No, it is a small final of what?
They've reached the final of the Confed.
Exactly. Confed is played by the teams, not big teams. Do you think Al or Sundowns can be proud to go to the reach Confederation Cup final?
Yes, you have to be.
It's a continental final.
Don't minimize it like that. The second.
If you win that, you've got the opportunity to play against the winner of the Champions League Super Cup.
It's a fact. Simba is not bigger than Pirates.
Okay, let's give you that.
Historically, in terms of titles, is not.
Okay. So it's a step up for him.
So Fadlu Davids will prefer coaching Pirates than Simba. If you call
is he a candidate though? Is he a candidate?
He has to be. He's a local coach who's doing well. I mean, he has to be a candidate.
Can come back. He was an assistant before, obviously, and you think he's ready now to really take the outright head coaching role?
I think give him another year. He could be a candidate, but I don't think
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I don't think he's in the mind space that he can take the pressure that Pirates comes with.
But right now,
anybody that coaches Pirates right now could do a good job because they've got good players in their armor. Whether you bring Jose Mourinho, Pirates know how to play Pirates way.
So you think that the shadow that Riviero casts now, whoever comes in, it needs a strong character.
It needs a very strong character.
Okay.
I think they should call him, honestly speaking. Fadlu Davids.
He should be on the list.
If they could be. No, they should not be in the list. They should
hire. You just said Pitso. Now you're changing. So who's your primary candidate for Pirates job?
Between Fadlu Davids and Pitso Msimane,
yeah,
I'll go for Fadlu Davids.
But
I will go. Pitso. I mean, there was a time before he joined John Sundowns. So Pirates were celebrating, I think, 75 years anniversary. Pitso Msimane was there.
Okay.
He almost became a Pirates coach. They didn't agree on certain things. So I don't know if it's going to happen now. But with Fadlu Davids, I feel he's much younger, more energetic. He can read the game well.
We're out of time. Last thing. So last thing. PSG, Inter Milan. Doesn't get better than that. It's going to be an amazing final. So we're not going to go too long. Morgan, who you got?
PSG, looking at the team that they have, they're hungry for this. But they're up against a very good team. Very sound defensively. Just speaking Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan's going to take it.
Your score?
2-0.
2-0 Inter Milan?
Inter Milan.
Okay. Nadim, who you got?
I think the Champions League... I think
this one pains you. This one.
like Champions League is very rare where you see a guy who has never won the Champions League, either as an assistant coach or becoming a part of a setup, the team that to win the Champions League. Luis Enrique has won the Champions League in 2015-2016 with Barcelona. I think he's going to win it again. That experience, those kind of pressure. That's why the Champions League is always won by almost the same people. So I don't think we'll see a new coach winning it. Simon Inzaghi from Inter Milan.
We'll see a new team, but not a new coach.
Yeah, I think
because it'll be the first time ever.
I think PSG will win it convincingly.
Convincingly.
Yeah,
What's your score?
Convincingly 3-1.
3-1.
I think 3-1 in a final is a convincing score.
I like it. Both of you are split on the two respective finals, so that's going to be interesting. So you got 3-1 to PSG, 2-0 to Inter Milan, 2-1 to Sundowns, 2-1 to Pyramids.
Yeah, Pyramids. When you come back, Pyramids will have won the CAF Champions League. PSG will have won the European Champions League.
Okay.
End of story.
End of story. Yeah. Okay. I think you've said your say.
No, I've said my say, and I just wish you all the best of luck. When we come back, we'll definitely unpack and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
The way we carry on, there's always more. There's always more. So, if Sundowns don't win, Cardoso, is he gone? Quickly.
No, it's a difficult
yes
question.
Or no?
Yes or no?
I don't think he should go, honestly speaking.
Okay. So
I think by reaching the final, and also winning the league, because it took this team from Mamelodi, it became so consistent. Okay. I think it will be unfair for him to sack him, but he might go. You know why? Because Mzansi wants the CAF Champions League at Sundowns.
We know that's the mandate.
Which Shopi?
No. The president of Sundowns.
Quickly. Cardoso, has he done enough regardless of the result?
He has done enough. It's up to the guys. Yeah, it's up to the guys, obviously, to show their worth and why they're at Sundowns. But yeah, he's done enough.
Okay, we're going to stop at that, because if I carry on, we'll keep going for days on end. That is where we wrap up today's episode of Switch On Network. It was brilliant. And let us know what you think. Obviously, we want you to interact with us. Your thoughts and your opinions matter to us, because ultimately football is our game. And so make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. This has been Switch On Network. Do stay tuned for a lot more to come.